All right, let's dive into a really powerful and urgent message that was delivered by the Jigong Master on November 21st, 2025. It was part critique, part heartfelt plea, and it's something we're going to deconstruct right now to really get at the heart of this sage's warning. So the master kicks things off with this beautiful, really clear ideal. The whole point of the way isn't about hiding away or seeking personal glory. No, it's about getting out there in the world and helping people with a truly sincere heart. This is the foundation, right? The starting line for everybody. But then, right after setting up that noble goal, the entire tone just shifts. The master reveals that he's been watching for over a decade, and honestly, he's deeply concerned. He sees this huge gap between the ideal he just talked about and what his followers are actually doing. And this is something we can all relate to, isn't it? We start a new routine, a new project, a new spiritual practice with all this fire and good intention. The master gets that. He sees that plenty of people are drawn to the path and take those first initial steps. And here it is. This is the core of his entire concern. This question just cuts right to the chase. It's easy to start something with a ton of enthusiasm, but to actually persevere, to stick with it through thick and thin, well, that, he says, is where most people stumble. The master explains this lack of perseverance using the concept of yuan, or karmic connection. He says, look, it's totally natural for these connections to spark up and then fade away. But he doesn't let you off the hook there. He pushes you to ask, who is the you that starts with all that passion? And who is the you that just lets it all fizzle out? It's a profound call to take some real personal responsibility. So, if people aren't persevering, then what's leading them astray? In this next section, the master breaks down the specific dangers of distraction he's seen, and just how easy it is to lose your way. He lays out these two diverging roads. On one hand, you've got the true path. It's straightforward, it's fair, and it's all based on what you sincerely do. But then there's the other road, and it is full of tempting detours. Chasing after miracles, listening to flashy but empty talk, or letting just a few words from someone else completely derail you. And to really hammer this point home, the master defines the heavenly way. This isn't some vague, fuzzy concept. Think of it more like spiritual physics. It's an absolute law. It judges you based on what you do, not what you say or who you are. There's no playing favorites, no shortcuts. Every single action is tracked, perfectly and clearly. So, with that incredibly high standard set, the master turns the question directly on his followers. He asks them, and really he's asking us, to look inward. Are you actually making the most of this life, this one precious shot you have to cultivate? Or have you just been letting time slip through your fingers? Now, the master's tone, it gets even more urgent. You can feel his personal disappointment as he delivers this really stark warning about wasting time. Wow. You can almost hear the weight in these words, can't you? He refers to himself so humbly as the old monk. And he's not angry. He's just sad. He's disappointed. After watching for so long, all he can do is sigh at all the potential he sees just going to waste. See, the ultimate goal of this whole thing is 见性显真, to see your own true nature revealed. Enlightenment, basically. But the master gives a huge warning here. If your heart isn't truly sincere, then all the rituals, all the actions, they're just a form of self-deception. You're only fooling yourself. He even uses a specific, really powerful term for this, mu shu. It describes someone who waits until the twilight of their life to get started on their spiritual path. When most of their time is already gone. And this leads him to his most urgent question of all. For all the people who've put it off, who've let decades just fly by, is starting now, so late in the game, even enough? Can you possibly make up for a lifetime of lost time? His answer is just stark, unambiguous. He repeats it to make sure it sinks in. Difficult? Difficult. This is the climax of his warning. He's not saying it's impossible, but he wants the gravity of that procrastination to land with its full emotional force. It's going to be incredibly hard. But the master doesn't just leave his followers there in despair. After a warning that heavy, he offers a clear, actionable solution. This last section is basically his prescription for how to get back on the true path, no matter how far off you've wandered. And his path back is a clear 4-step process. First, it starts in the heart. You have to reignite that sincere intention. But just thinking isn't enough. you have to let the body arise, take real concrete action. From there, you find your own place, your unique role. And finally, you just diligently move forward, putting in that sincere effort. He wraps it up by framing this advice not as some rigid, cold doctrine, but as something deeply personal. It's an earnest plea from a teacher who cares, and he calls it an important entrustment, like a sacred responsibility that he is passing down to his followers. He's begging them to take it to heart. So we end up right where the master wanted his followers to begin, with some deep, honest self-reflection. His question wasn't just for them, way back when. It resonates so powerfully today. After hearing his warning and his guidance, what will your reflection be?